So yeah, test cases we write basically to see how our code behaves in expected lines. So test cases not only help us to make set the expected lines, it also helps us to release our product more predictably. And so what if we add more insights into our test cases? So in our fast-paced world, today we all create microservices, right? And how confident we can release our product, and we release our product into production more frequently. So what's the confidence that we have so that once I release my product to production, it works seamlessly? So for that, we need a framework or a coverage to do that as we take insurance. So that is what we are trying to achieve. How best we write test cases and how much insights that we get into the test cases. That's what we are trying to achieve in today's next couple of minutes. So with that, these are the speakers for you today. So myself, Prakash, and my colleague, Anirudh, will walk you through our journey in Fern in the next couple of minutes. So to begin with, I'm sure we all can relate to this picture quickly. So something we have released to production. So in production, we are good. So what are the process that we normally take? First, we do it on development. And in development, of course, we have different kind of pipelines that runs that have test. And we try to achieve 100% coverage for our test. And all our tests should be fine. We do better in development. And after development, we are happy. Hey, I can go to the next phase. Might be non-production environment. So there also we see that tests are fine, and we are good to go to production. Next is the production, and we are here. And with all the hopes and trials in our mind, we release our product to the production. And what is the thing? Turning behind, we are all happy. Everything should be green. And of course, we can easily relate with this picture, right? Yeah, still the story is not ending here. I would like to think about the flip side of the coin. Yeah, doomsday. You know, hopefully we don't want this picture to be in our widest of our dreams. Right? So at some point of time, we get a pager call some night or day or whatever our time frame it is, and we have to resolve our production issue as quickly as possible. And I'm sure each one of us will do that. Once you resolve the issue, there can be something bugging in your mind, right? What happened wrong? Like, hey, I have done it perfectly fine in my development setup. I've done it perfectly all right. And say we consider this as a team, each one of us will think like, where did it went wrong? All my test was perfectly fine. And all through our life cycle, say we are releasing a small feature, like something that downloads an artifact from S3. That small feature, we would have done a lot of tests. Like starting from test development, there will be thousands of builds. Which build will I go back and look into? Like which that particular feature. And there will be different CI/CD, might be Jenkins, TeamSpeak. Which build will I go back and see that where did it falter? It was always green always. If we imagine that scenario right now, if such a use case, then again, will I again start my whole development again? Will the same issue can't happen again in production? A lot of questions are there in our mind. And that's what exactly we are trying to address today, so that if we can imagine that if there is a uniform board like this, where I can see everything in one space, and this is exactly, we want to put this in your mind before we start our talk today. And that's what we started on Guideware as a product, as an open source product, and that's called Fern.
So before diving deep into the introduction to the Fern, I would like to walk you through the journey of Fern and how it all actually started. So as Prakash was mentioning about the deployment success and then immediately me having raised concerns about the deployment, it's not actually a story that we built up for this presentation. It's actually real, and in fact, most of us might have already been in that situation where suddenly the deployment fails. So Guideware is not very different, and we also face similar issues. So from a developer standpoint, we always strive to write the best code and always want to cover all the tests possible. we have like the best coverage and we have everything ready, nothing short to be in production. However, we had the tests, but we couldn't see them the way we needed to. So, but it is bigger pain from a manager's perspective, or the person who is overseeing multiple teams. So we have our manager here, we have our VP here. So why do they want to waste their time navigating through a lot of CI/CDs, seeing different tests for different teams? They wanted a centralized dashboard. They wanted visibility at a single place so that they could see all the tests together. So that's when we decided to build something that connected all the dots together. We wanted a way to connect tests to the actual Jira story. We wanted a way to see the pass or fail to the real insight, and that's when we built it and we named it Fern. So at its heart, Fern is a set of tools which gives meaning, makes your test meaningful and also insightful, not just for you, but for your entire team. So currently at Guideware, we have most of the teams working in platform sector are working with Go as their major programming language. So we started to build Fern to support Ginkgo, which is a popular testing framework for Go-based applications. And the next one is JUnit, which is another testing framework for Java-based applications. So currently, Fern supports two clients, which are Ginkgo and JUnit, which actually solves this problem of having insights and visibility over the tests. So Fern collects all the data, performs all the analysis, and shows us through a visible UI. So the most important and interesting part is Fern is open source and community-driven project. So when we started to build Fern, we understood the fact that the problem that we have, the problem about the visibility into the test reports is not only the problem that we have in Guideware, but it is a common problem that most of other people and other teams and organizations might be facing. So we wanted to make this open source so that everyone in the community who are facing similar problem can use the solution. So a couple of goals that we had in mind when we started to build Fern were the points I was discussing on. We needed a centralized dashboard where we could actually see all the test reports. As Prakash was mentioning, you have multiple CI/CDs, multiple teams use different pipelines. You have to go through all of them. But you don't have a centralized dashboard where you could actually see all these together. So that was our primary goal, that we wanted a centralized dashboard, be that different teams, we wanted a centralized dashboard to see all the tests together. And we also wanted, with this, we also wanted to solve the problem of traceability. Now, when you have these tests, you can actually label them with all the, maybe Jira tickets or anything, logical labeling, so that you could actually trace it back to the maybe Jira stories or anything that you want. And another important thing is we wanted to have feature evolution so that you could see your features from a historic point in time. So from the development phase till the production phase, you would have run a lot of tests in all this time. And we wanted you to have this visibility of all the tests in a single place so that you could understand the evolution of your features. So at the core, Fern works with three components, which are Fern Client, Fern Reporter, and Fern UI. So starting with client, which I already mentioned, we have Ginkgo and JUnit being the two clients which supports Go-based and Java-based applications. So this client actually collects all the test reports that you have in your application's test frameworks, and this sends all these test reports to a centralized API server. Now this API server is maintained by something called Fern Reporter, which is the server and the brain of all this Fern project. And that takes in all the data, analyzes it, performs some analysis, and gives us back to a visible UI, which is maintained by Fern UI. So now I would like to show you a quick demo on how these three components glue together to actually integrate and give us all these features so that you could rate much better and quicker. So I hope most of you know Kubernetes, a famous GitHub repository. So we picked Kubernetes to be our repository. So now we'll be integrating this to Kubernetes directly, just after cloning, so that you understand how important, how easy is it to integrate into any of the applications that you have, be it Go-based or Java. So Kubernetes has test cases in Go. I'll just show you that I have the repository up to date and there are no tweaks that I have done before this. Oh yeah. Okay, so I think there is something new. Kubernetes always pushes something new. So yeah, I don't have anything. My working tree is clean. Okay, let's dive now. We have a client which is built for Ginkgo. We have all the requirements, everything that you have to do to integrate Fern into your project. We have all everything step by step. It follows the same steps. So you have to install your client first, which is the first step. I'll go here and install client. Next, so now you have to actually send a request which registers your project into the reporter or the server. So whatever test you are actually sending to your reporter or your server should know where it is coming from or where it should actually put in the UI. So you now have to register yourself with some project. Be it that project can be of your logical hierarchy. Maybe you can combine a couple of test suits, combine test suits based on logical features, anything of that sort. So currently, what we are doing, I'm giving a name like Kubernetes projects, and this is anything. This can be anything, and I'll send this pull request. Now this gives me a UUID, which is a unique ID for your project. Now, whenever you're sending reports to your server, you need to put this into that. I'll show you where, so that it understands that okay, this is coming from Kubernetes projects. So I am actually clubbing this together in the Kubernetes projects, right? Next step you have is you get the sample response. That will be the project ID, and next go into the code. So we have already picked one package which is apps. So we picked this because this has very minimal tests and it runs pretty quick, so that it will be easier for us to show you quicker. So currently I'm integrating it into this. I'm just importing this. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. So sorry, I forgot. I just show you that Fern Reporter, which is a server, is already running locally. And also we have our Fern UI which is running locally. So all these two are running locally. Now I'm gonna point all the tests towards my local. So I'll tell you what this does. So there is something called reporter after suit in Ginkgo testing framework, which Ginkgo provides out of the box. This method is provided by Ginkgo. It gives you a report, which is the report of your whole test suite. And this is the Fern reporter base URL where you have to point it towards the URL that you want. I hope you can see. I can make it bigger. I hope now everyone in the back can see. So yeah, so this is the reporter. Currently we have reporter running locally, so I'm pointing it to the local, and I'm not exporting any base URL. We don't need this. So this boils down to 3 lines of code that you have to add in your repository to actually send this reports to the Fern. This is the project UUID which I was talking, project ID, unique ID. Here you have to paste the ID which you got here. So here you have registered your project from which you got an ID. Now here you are telling that, okay, this is the project in my Kubernetes projects. So this, when you run this, I'll run only this package. So it says vendor is not in sync. So I'll run this. So vendor is something which has a local copy of all the packages that you have with versions. So it's an environment that is set up for running the test. So now it says that your vendor is not in sync because we just have the client installed. Now the vendor is in sync. I'll run the test again. Just ignore this warning of mismatch version. You have the tests. 9 tests are passed. Now I'll show you the UI. So this is the Kubernetes project which we registered. This is the summary page, and this is the runs page where you have all your runs in detail. You can look through everything, see what time it has taken, and a lot. Now I'll just give you a quick understanding on how you can add a couple of labels to this. So now I want to replicate some failure. So I'll label it as failure test, something like that. And also maybe I want to actually add a tag for my Jira story. So it can be some random Jira story so that I can trace it back at a later point in time when I actually want to see it again. So now I've added labels. I'll run it again. I'll also probably change something, tweak something in the test so that something fails intentionally, and I'll run it again. So this one's again, meanwhile I'll show you the UI. So here you can search for anything you want. Here you can search for anything you want, be it in any of the columns that you have, be it the spec runs, be it any of the Git branches, authors, any of those things, right? So this is a tag which I'll show you, which filters based on tags that you have. I hope this has run. So now I'll refresh. You have like another test which is showing, and now you can filter based on the tags, right? And the test summary is the page where you can actually see all the tests that are that you have actually put it together in Kubernetes project, so that over the period of time you can see all the tests in a single class.
Okay, no,
And now we'll demonstrate. Prakash will help us demonstrate similar thing how you could do this in simple in Java applications as well with JUnit testing.
Sure. So, till now what we have seen, suppose me and Anirudh are part of same product team, and he's Go shop and he's developing application on Go, and I'm part of project and we do on Java. So what Anirudh just demonstrated was he executed few test cases, and there can be hundreds of test cases, and we are seeing it everything on a single dashboard. Now I'm having a requirement. Hey, Anirudh, you did it on a single dashboard. Why can't I also send to that same dashboard so that our manager or we, whoever they want to see it from that same dashboard, right? So I'll just show you how we can achieve that for a Java application. So here what I'm doing is